Forward Live. This is the live stream, the podcast, the show, whatever, that talks about real shit, real things that people go through, and real solutions to real problems. And today I want to talk about something from the teachings of the Buddha. And Buddha, in his early teachings, taught that there were three poisons or three fires that are at the root of all of our problems. And those three things are greed, hatred, or anger, and delusion. And those three things are at the root of almost every human problem. Now, let's talk about this for a second, because if you saw the movie Wall Street, the chief character, Gordon Gekko, said, greed is good. And listen, it's okay to desire things. It's okay to work for things. But when you have greed, greed often seeks to attain at the expense of others. And that's a problem. You don't want to be greedy. It's okay to have, it's okay to earn, it's okay to even amass, but it's not okay to hoard, and it's not okay to do this at the expense of others. The second thing, anger or hatred. Listen, there's a biblical passage that says it is okay to be angry, but sin not. Well, what does that mean? That there is a righteous kind of anger. It's okay to be angry against systems of oppression. It's okay to be angry at behaviors that are harmful to the human condition. It's okay to be angry about certain things. The thing is, you don't want to act in kind. You don't want to be as bad as the anger or the thing that causes the anger in you, right? And the third thing, ignorance or delusion. Ignorance is when you're willfully unknowing. In other words, there is the ability for you to learn what something is about. There's an ability for you to attain knowledge, but you choose not to. Or delusion is when you know something is true, but you allow yourself to be overcome by the passion or the rhetoric of someone else to basically delude you into something that you would otherwise know is right. So the big thing is that when these things happen, and this happens to every single person, this is not uncommon. You will have feelings of greed, you will have feelings of anger or hatred, and you will have ignorance. Because listen, as far as ignorance goes, we are born ignorant. I mean, well, let me say this. We're born unknowing. We're not born ignorant. The thing is that ignorance can be overcome. Okay? So this is what we need to do, is that we need to rewire our brains, rewire our minds to think differently. And this, for those of you who are in the biblical teaching, this is what repentance is all about. Repentance is changing your mind. It's not confessing any fault or any sin or anything like that. It is simply changing your mind, reconditioning your mind, reprogramming your mind, rewiring your mind. So here we go. When you have feelings of greed, this is when you want to turn on generosity. Generosity overcomes greed every time. When you feel like you're being greedy, you feel like you're being hoardy, it's time to find a place where your passion lies, to place something of your time, talent, and treasure into that will help you overcome the feelings of greed. Listen, I know this to be true, that there are times when I was really I'm trying to get all I can all I get, and sit on my can. And that's not the key to life. What you want to do is you want to flow outward. You want to become a conduit, not a container. You want to become a pipeline from any source to any destination. And that's how generosity works. Figure out where it is that you can do the most good, and then go do it. And whether that be, again, with your time, your talent, or your treasure, just go do it. The second thing is anger or hatred. How do we overcome that? We overcome that with love. And when I say love, I'm not talking about like Tina Turner's What's Love Got to Do with It. I'm talking about empathy and compassion. You've heard me say this many times. If you've been watching me any length of time, you know empathy and compassion are the roots, the elemental roots of love. So empathy is simply saying, I want to see it through your eyes. I want to experience what you experience. I want to walk a mile in your shoes. And compassion says, I care. Compassion just simply says, I give a fuck. And listen, one of the things that will endear you to people faster than anything else is when they see that you want to see it from their perspective, or when you want to, when you're demonstrating concern about them, that you actually care. My mom has a thought experiment that I love. When people ask her, how is she doing? She responds, do you care? Or do you have enough time? And this is one of the things that gets people to thinking. And I mean, when she did it to me for the first time, it really got me to thinking, do I care and do I have enough time? If you don't really believe that you care about the other person, or that you have enough time to listen to what they're going through, don't ask them how they're doing. It's just ingenuous, okay? So empathy and compassion will overcome anger and hatred. And think about this. Think about how much better the world would be if we simply replaced our anger and our hatred with empathy and compassion. But let me go on. Ignorance or delusion. Let's talk about ignorance first. Whenever you realize that you don't know about something, either it's incumbent upon you to learn about that thing that you don't know about, or to recuse yourself from speaking on it. Because if you're speaking in ignorance, you're speaking in harm, and you don't want to do that. You don't want to be the source of harm. So if you are ignorant, get educated. Better yet, make education a part of your daily paradigm. In other words, can I learn something new about something that I didn't know today? If you learn something new, if you learn one thing new every day, that means you learn 365 new things each year. And think about how that expands your consciousness, how it expands your thinking. Don't be ignorant. And then delusion, don't be deluded. Test everything that everyone says. I have a measure. I said that if someone tells me something, is it tangible? Is it measurable? And is it repeatable? And if it's not one of those things, I disregard it. I absolutely disregard it. Because if I can't quantify it, or detect it, or see it repeated, it just isn't real to me. Okay? So those are the things that I want to say. Basically, if you take all of this and use this as a template for renewing your mind, you can get rid of greed, you can get rid of hatred and anger, and you can get rid of ignorance and delusion in your life. And again, this is a process, it's an iterative process. You're not going to get rid of these things permanently, but you are going to get rid of them situationally. And when you get rid of them situationally, you're going to learn how to do this over and over again, and you're going to get better. And so you're going to you're going to hit the mark far more than you miss it. Okay, so I hope you guys got a chance to listen to Phreology on Friday, where my beloved Maya and I were hosting. We had an awesome time. Next week, Aaron Tomlinson and I will be back, and be sure to catch these shows. The Humanity on Tuesday nights with anyway, having a senior moment there. Tommy and Matt, and then also catch Unreligious on Thursdays with Jimmy Ligon, and again Phreology Friday. So anyway, to that I want to say, may you be happy, may you be well, may you be filled with peace. Love y'all.